Good morning. How is everyone today? So 7 seconds. Do you realize that's the amount of time that some of you are going to give me before you make a decision on if I have anything of value to present to you today? 7 seconds before you start to drift away, before you start to check your messages, before you start thinking, did somebody post a schedule? Is the food order done? 7 seconds before you start to think about everything else going on in your life. I'm going to ask you for a little bit more. I'm going to ask you for 50 minutes. Give me a chance to throw some problems up on the board, up on the chalkboard that I know you guys are having. Some issues that I see in the industry, and allow me to try to solve them. I speak all over the country. Last week was New York, day after tomorrow is Florida, and this is my absolute favorite presentation. This is the one that I truly, truly love, and I'm going to give you everything I have. But if I do that, I'm going to ask for a few things from you guys, okay? I want to ask first for your focus, that your focus is here, that you're thinking about trying to get better, that you're thinking about things that will make your restaurant better tomorrow. I want your energy, okay? You guys don't need to show me that today. You get to sit on your butt and do nothing for the next 50 minutes. But I want your energy tomorrow morning when you bounce out of bed and can't wait to get started. Energy is a big piece of what we need to run a good restaurant. But I also need your commitment, okay? I need your commitment to run a good, solid restaurant, to pay your bills on time, to take care of your staff, to do all the things right that say you are a good, solid business. A good friend of mine, David Scott Peters, is the last speaker of today. He's got a great saying, and it's up on his trade show or his seminar wall. It says, it's the people that put them into action. Okay, ideas are cheap. It's the people that put them into action that are priceless. So what that means is I'm going to give you the presentation today. Okay, I'm going to email it to you. You don't need to make notes on the things that I'm teaching you. But I want you to make notes on the things that you can take away, that action list that you can put into place back in your restaurant tomorrow. Those are the things that you're going to a show today. Hundreds of new ideas, great new products, new people to meet. But it's what you do with the ideas. So you've got to take some good things and put them into place tomorrow. Today we're talking about building a management team that is driving your restaurant to success. A management team that is focused on where you're going as a group. A management team that cares about each other. That's the only way you can take days like today away from your business and do more and more. We're going to break down into a few segments today, but let me introduce myself. My name's Darren Denington from Service with Style Hospitality Group. I've been in the business a very long time, literally since I was 13, and myself and Roxanne were comparing notes earlier. We both started at the same age, and we're flipping burgers and washing dishes and working in hotels and cooking and bartending. I love the business. When the business goes down and you get a busload of people coming in your front door, I want to be on Hot Side Expo. I love the kitchen. I'm a certified chef de cuisine, and I've got my degree in food and beverage management. All this means is that I've been in the industry, but I like to solve problems. I solve problems that come up every single day, and I like to put in systems that say, never again. Never again are we going to get caught with that. Let's do something to improve the problem, something to solve it and move on. I can tell you as a young kid growing up in Canada, okay, we're hockey fans, and I was skating when the time I was 4, 5, 6 years old, and I never grew up with any leadership. I lived there till the time I was 25, and I never studied leadership. I never really thought much about it. The leader in my life was the kid with the C on his jersey, the captain of the hockey team, the one that could stick handle the fastest or scored the most goals in the practice the day before the coach needed to select a leader of the team. That's not what a true leader is. I can remember as a young kid working in the business. I was working at the Sheraton Brock in Niagara Falls, Canada. Okay, it was a gorgeous hotel. As soon as you come over from Niagara Falls, New York to Canada, right there, 13 stories, and I was a porter. Okay, we set up and tore down for all the banquet rooms. We had about 15 of them. And I had just got a promotion. I was literally 15, maybe 16 years old at the time, and now I'm the head porter. I was so excited. I got to write my own schedule, and I got to delegate a few jobs to all my buddies that I was now the head porter. So I get a call. Literally my pager goes off. That's how long ago it was. I call into the hotel. I'm getting ready for high school. And I'm finishing getting ready. It's like 7:30 in the morning. So I call back into the hotel, and there's my boss on the other end. What the hell's going on? What's with the American room? So what do you mean? I told John and Mike to set it up yesterday. So, well, I got 35 people standing outside the room right now and it's not set up. Well, they should have. No, that's your job. I hired you to make sure this takes place. So I literally skipped school that day and I'm going into work and I'm thinking, how could this happen? We talked about it last night. I verbally told them what we needed to do to get the room set up. How did they not do this? So as I'm racing around trying to scramble to get out of the doghouse from my boss and get back in good graces, I'm thinking, why did they not do that? It's the first time in my life I ever thought about a checklist. A checklist system that says, before you leave today, this is what you need to do. Before you move on, these are all the things that we need to get accomplished. Simple little tiny systems that can go a long way for you guys. We're going to cover a lot of stuff today. I got 50 minutes. I'm going to fly through it as quick as I can. But we're going to talk about the culture. What kind of restaurant you really are. What is that underlining philosophy that you really buy into? We're going to talk about the manager habits. It's my personal experience that we put too much on our managers. We're trying to have them do too many things, and a lot of them are failing in our industry. We're going to define exactly what management needs to be taken care of and how you guys can go about making sure that they take care of that. I've got 9 leadership traits. If we had a dry erase board up here instead of a presentation screen, I bet we could all come up and put 30, 40, 50 words that properly describe leadership. These are 9 for hospitality. These are things that work in your restaurant that you absolutely have to have these characteristics in your management if they want to earn the respect of your staff so that they can lead them. We're going to talk about some systems and accountability. I've got to make sure that what I'm giving you today, you can take away and implement tomorrow. So there's easy, simple to follow things that you guys were going to be able to do. We break into 3 little segments. First, we're going to create the team culture, how we get everybody together. Then we go into the leadership traits, but then we're going to finish with some productive and profit-driven systems. Some things that are absolutely positively going to save you money, going to save you time, going to save you energy, and possibly make it a little bit more rewarding to work in your business. I always start off with employee morale. Morale is that driving force, that underlining of, am I happy being here? Do I really genuinely care about the restaurant? Think about it this way. I want you guys to put a number from 1 to 10 on your employee morale. Okay, all your servers, your bartenders, your cooks. I personally, after 32, 33 years, I've only ever worked in one restaurant that I would consider a 10. For about a year and a half, we were knocking it out of the park. Everybody wanted to be there. We were covering each other left and right. I'd get a tap on my shoulder and, Darren, need you in the dish room. 2 minutes, got to drop these salads. And I'd come around the corner and I'm like, oh my Lord, look at the dishes. Okay, let's go. And about 5 of us would jump in, and 5 minutes later, the dishwasher, thank you, thank you. And we went back to our job. We all jumped in everywhere. That's a 10. If you think your restaurant right now is at about a 7, that means that you're a pretty good person to work for. I like it here. But every once in a while, we throw in a really crappy shift, and it takes 2 or 3 days to get back to that good standard level. If you think your employee morale is at a 4, that means that you probably have someone right here, right now, getting ready to go to work in your restaurant today. And they're looking at the mirror and they're saying, do I quit today? Oh crap, I can't. I got my car payment due next week. But the first chance I get, I'm out of here. And they're only working for you for the financial reasons. So start to think about where your employee morale is. But what I want to talk to you today is where your management morale is. How you get a group of managers that really genuinely want to work for you. I took over a hotel. This was years and years and years ago. And I'm sitting around my second meeting. I'm now the general manager of the hotel, and I've got 13 managers in our weekly manager meeting. It's only the second time I'd ever sat in there, and I'm trying to evaluate all the people around the room on who really wants to be here, who wants to make some good changes, who can I trust, who's on my team. And I couldn't identify a single person that I genuinely felt was excited to work here. We then started talking as a management team, said, what's in it for you? What do you want out of this job? How can we make it rewarding for you? And we pushed the business aside and we made sure it worked for the management. One major thing that came out of that was nobody wanted to work 6 days or 7 days a week. Darren, I'll work as many hours as you want, as long as I could have 2 days off a week. That's what we decided. About 3 weeks later, I got my chef, comes up, he hands me the weekly schedule. So, thanks, Rob, let me take a look at it. You can't do this. Well, what do you mean? I'm under the dollar allotment that you gave for my schedule, and we're all covered with the new training like we talked about. I said, but you're on 6 days, can't do it. So, we are so busy, there's no way. What do you mean there's no way? I've got a chef jack in my office, I love the kitchen. What day do you want me to cover you? Really? You're gonna, absolutely. Because we said no manager works more than 5 days. 13 years later, I went back to the business. I had been gone for 8, 9 years at this point. But 11 of those managers were still there. They bought into a system of getting it right from the management team. We covered each other. Bottom line is you can't do this alone. You've got to build a strong management team. But when the manager morale is down here, nothing is working. And it always starts off with a poor performance from a manager. You leave a manager meeting and you're going to be off for that night and say, hey, can you clean the cooler before you leave tonight? And make sure to wrap up the recap from St. Patty's Day and don't forget to do tomorrow's order. Okay, so you leave for the day, you come back in tomorrow, and you're like, where's the recap from Patty's Day? You walk into the cooler, it hasn't been touched. The order hasn't been done. A poor performance, now I get frustrated. The other manager starts to say, why do I have to do all this extra work when they should be doing their job also? Good people start to get frustrated. Now, human nature says, I've got to take that frustration out somewhere. And a server comes around the corner in the wrong shoes, using the wrong cutting board, not setting up the station like we want, and I blast her. And I take my frustration out on somebody. It's human nature, it all rolls. Then, that employee starts to seek reassurance. I didn't do anything wrong. Let me tell you why he's the jerk. Let me tell you. And we start talking and talking and talking. And all your employees start to get distracted. They start talking about the simple little problems. Now, when this is at the management level, your team starts to get divided. And they start to pick a manager, what side they're on. When you get divided, you don't start to work on anything as a core group. So what suffers? This is where a lot suffers. First thing is the management productivity. If you are not a productive restaurant, things fall down all the time. I have yet to see a single minute in any restaurant where there's nothing to do. There's always something to do in this business. So that productivity stops. And I'm going to show you coming up what that genuinely does to the long-term basis of the restaurant. The employee productivity. If you are not leading your staff to get their job done, they are not doing it. I've got a survey or a test pilot project out in the field right now. We're testing 15 different restaurants because I want to see what 30 different employees are doing for productivity. Based on what we're seeing, between 3.5 to 4 hours is all the productivity we're getting out of an employee for an 8-hour shift. Half of the time they're working. Start to watch your employees during the first 15 minutes. They're not doing a thing unless they're properly led by your management. Next one is management time and energy. Okay? Who in the room is holding a weekly manager meeting every single week religiously? Okay, thank you. Good job. This is what I think is the holy grail of the restaurants. This is the 1 hour, you do not mess with my management meeting. This is how serious I am about it. If you put in a manager meeting for 4 weeks in a row, give me 1 hour 4 weeks in a row. At that end of that time, if you think that that was a complete waste of time, you call me, I fly back from Florida, I take you out for dinner. That's what it means to me to have these management meetings. When the management team is not on the same page, we lose that productivity. Then, the restaurant focus. I'm going to show you what we need to focus on. I'm going to show you what it takes to drive to success through the message of the management. I can tell you right now, for Service with Style, I have 19 items on my priority list. I know this because I had a very long flight yesterday and I was reviewing them in the air. I've got a yellow pad of paper that sits in my top right-hand drawer of my priorities. If my staff right now sees that 19 list, they're going to flip out. What are you doing? We can't take care of all this. Don't you know how busy we are? And they start pushing back and back. It's my job to say these are the 3 things that we have to work on that make a major impact. They don't even see number 4 through 19. I keep the focus of the group. Let's talk about the reality of management. What do we put our managers through? I'm going to start off by saying that I have yet to meet a perfect general manager. I am not a perfect general manager. I travel all over the country. I have yet to meet one that is absolutely perfect, and that's what I'm going to show you. But first, we talk about what they have to do. The reality of the management, it's long hours. How many of you in the room, by a show of hands, are working more than 50-hour weeks? Keep your hands up if you're working more than 50. More than 55 hours, keep your hands up. More than 60 hours a week. More than 65 hours a week. Anyone working more than 70-hour work weeks? Okay, good, because the next ball was coming really, really hard. You cannot work that many hours to be productive. It's my philosophy that I feel I can be more productive than any one of you if I'm working 50 hours a week compared to your 70. Because I jump out of bed and I'm excited and I can't wait to get there. Because my staff is doing their job. Because I'm working on the things that make a big difference. But we put the managers through a lot. It's long hours. Then we come back and say, take care of your employees. Employees, it's a tough workforce out there. They get these jobs because they're working on their real career, but they just have to get a job somewhere. They're not here for a long time. It's an easy job. I can go be a server. So we get this transient type of group that doesn't genuinely care. And I'm not saying that's all of them. And it's my personal belief that this has changed and gotten better in our industry. But typically we're working with young employees, high turnover, that do not look at this as a career. Then you put it on your managers to get them to be really productive and do their job. So it's tough on the management. And then we put all these expectations on the managers. You got to run great shifts. I need 14 great shifts back to back every single week. Can't have a single guest that's disappointed. Control your cost. Cost out your schedules. Drive sales. Don't forget to work on the new menu because we want that on the table in the next 2 weeks. So we put all these projects. Why doesn't this work get done? Oh, you don't believe how busy we were last night. So the expectations are a little unrealistic. Then we say, take care of our guests. Let me show you a little philosophy that I have from a massive study that we did. I put about 6,000 surveys out in the field, and I wanted to understand, after a guest leaves the restaurant, what they do next. Service with Style is a secret shopping company. We have over 320,000 reports in our system from restaurants like you that say this is what the guest was thinking of your business. So I wanted to take all that data and say, what happens next? So look at it this way. Myself, my wife, and my daughter. We dine out between 28 and 34 times a month. We're a very active family. We're on the go all the time. We have 11 trusted restaurants in our circle that we know we can go and get a really good meal from these places. Ones that we like the decor, that we know the staff, that we like the food, we like the music. It's easy to get in and out of. Here's what takes place. When I leave a restaurant, think about a score. Our average score for our secret shopping reports right now is just over 82%. It's my personal belief that once you hit 85%, you're starting to do it well. You get into the 90s and you are part of an elite group in our industry. If I get an experience that was a 90% and above, I'm going to come back to you twice as often. If I came to you once a month, I'm going to increase that to 2, possibly 3 times a month. If you're really, and I mean really, really good I might tell one or two friends about how awesome you are. From the 75 to 89%, you met my expectations. I just wanted a really good burger. I had to be out by 7:30 because my daughter's on the tennis court at 8. Everything was fine. You're going to see me next month, the month after, and the month after. The 60 to 74%, I'm somewhat disappointed. Okay? I'm not ready to kick you to the curb yet, but you're going to see me in 4 or 5 months. This is where your staff starts to come up with huge excuses. Where's Dave and Jane? You know, the ones that sat at table 7 every single Sunday morning? They must be at that festival. Oh, it's raining outside. I bet they have company. But they never look at themselves and say, what was their last experience like? What could I have done a little bit better? So Dave and Jane are not ready to kick you to the curb, but they're not coming back very often because they found a new regular spot for them. They're still sitting at table 7 every single Sunday morning, just happens to be across the street. 50 to 59%. This one's simple. I'm done. I'm not a confrontational person. Why would I call a manager over to talk about a problem when I can simply just walk away and never come back to your business again? You have no idea. Now, the below the 50%. This is where 9 out of 10 unhappy guests do not complain to management. However, we tell an average of 9 friends about our crappy experience. You gave me a story. I go into work tomorrow. Oh man, I was at this place last night. The ribs, they were terrible. They were tough and soaked in sauce and the fries were burnt. We waited like 45 minutes and I get a fun reaction. So now I go tell the story a second time. Usually I exaggerate it. I waited 55 minutes. I get more of a reaction, so I tell that story a third time. The storyteller, I get bored of it. So I move on after telling 9 people. But what has changed? Typically now I'm still sitting at table 7. I hit 212 characters into my smartphone. I hit post. And my 797 friends know how crappy you are. And you've got no idea. We're not connected on social media, but we love to read this stuff. So we share it and we like it and we comment on it. And people talk. 2 major things have changed in our industry over the last 6-7 years. First, I think we can all agree that the economy tanked. I just saw the movie A Big Short. Wow, did that ever nail what happened in our economy? But the economy tanked, and I'm not ready to drop $75 on an experience if I don't see the value. The economy from 6-7 years ago told me, I don't know if I've got $75 coming in tomorrow for disposable income to waste on a crappy experience. We're okay with spending money in restaurants now, but that value has to hit it. We've got to feel like, wow, that was worth it every time we open up that checkbook. The second thing that has drastically changed is the celebrity chefs in our industry. Restaurants have blown up on TV. Irvine and Taffer and Ramsey have taught your guests that it's not that hard. They have increased the awareness of what it is to build a restaurant. They have increased the expectations of your guests. So every time I go in, I'm thinking it should be better. But why do our guests not return? So 3%, sure, they move away. 5% develop some type of new friendship. 9% based on competitive reasons. Okay, the burger's just a little cheaper across the street. 15% will not come back because they don't like your product. The only number that means anything to me up here is that 68% of the people that will never walk back in your restaurant. They do so because they receive an attitude of indifference from one of your employees. Yes, the people that you pay to be there. Simple little tiny things. When we're sitting in a restaurant and I haven't seen you in a couple months and we're catching up and how's life and oh great, how's the kids and it's so good to see you. Then we order our meal and we shut our menus. And now we have time to look around and watch everything that's moving in your restaurant. That's your staff. We see when they drop a glass of water and they don't say, here you are, ma'am. Or when they leave a table and they roll their eyes because they can't believe the special request that the guest just made. We sense the attitude in every single thing, and that's what we are not willing to put up with. That's where we stop and say no more. Then we get into the financial drain of these managers that are not doing their job. These managers that are supposed to be driving your restaurant to success. If they are not focused on it, your staff loses their focus. When your staff is at that 4, that employee morale of a 4, that means that they are not going to the table and confidently selling anything. That they are not following through and say, come back next week, we've got a great chicken wing special that you've got to try. Or have you made your reservations for our white tablecloth night? When your employee morale is at a 4, they're not doing anything extra. They're not turning the tables on Sunday morning when you have a 40-minute wait time. They're just going through the motions and barely doing their job. So when I wait for a table for 40 minutes, I don't come back next week. I don't have that kind of time to waste. There's too many other options out there. So the management has to be driving those staff all the time. They've got to be focused on getting it right. In our industry right now, I'm a firm believer that there is a very limited selection of A or B type managers. That top tier of managers that are available for employment. I'm looking at a lot of C and D level managers. When we get a management team that we're not happy with, we're very quick to dismiss. Give me a new manager, give me a new manager. I'm cleaning house, I'm so sick and tired of this, get me some new people. That's a very costly decision. That says that you're willing, in my eyes, to spend almost $5,000 before this new manager is worthwhile to you at all. Worth anything that says that they can run their own shift, that they can work on the really good things of the restaurant to get better and better. It's a very expensive decision. I like to get into development. And how do we groom these managers? How I look at it is any single employee, in 2 months, can they be the employee that I genuinely want? If they've got the attitude and the right base, absolutely. But if they can't get there, then I look and say, do we need to move on? If the answer is yes, then I put every resource into them. I'll train them, I'll groom them, I'll coach them, I'll encourage them, and give them every tool to succeed. But if the answer right now is no, that person can't get there, then you need an exit strategy. If the answer is yes, you put the time and energy into training and motivating these employees. That's the reality of management. It's long, it's hard, it's a fast-paced business all the time. So how do we put a group together that can handle this? Well, I can tell you that we're going to start with the culture. Start with the team that says yes, that we want to do this together. I'd like everyone, just for a second, close their eyes. And no, I'm not going to throw balls at you when your eyes are closed. Close your eyes for a second and envision your management team. Wherever you're working right now, those 3, 4, 5 people, and envision what their real good strengths are and what their weaknesses are. And when you got a clear picture of your management team, open up your eyes. What we need to do is develop this as one team. One single team that says, yes, we can do this together. I don't care what your weakness is, I care what your strength is. We've got to pinpoint to the pieces that they bring to the table to help us get better. When we put in one strong team, we've got to be able to communicate. I am sick and tired of hearing, oh, we talk all the time, we don't need a meeting. Oh, we're texting back and forth and we know exactly what's going on between our managers. That's day-to-day stuff. The management meeting stops and says, this is what we're going to do for 1 hour. This is how we're going to build a base for a management team. You push aside operations and you say, we need to work on getting better. That's what a good management meeting is. Then you come up with one solid message for the employees. If you've in a state right now where your employees are kind of running the ship instead of the management, you need to grab hold of that. Typically what happens in that scenario is that it's me battling you, manager against employee, and you screwed up. Well, I don't want that. I want the management team to agree that your actions need to change and we're going to help you do that. It's not a one-on-one battle. You've got to be able to develop the team that says the management team is leading us. 4 areas. 4 areas that you absolutely positively have to have the strength in. This is why I have yet to meet a perfect GM. Hopefully you're in the crowd today, but I have yet to meet you. Because of the 4 different skill sets, this is what you need. First, it starts with operations. Operations says that that manager knows how to get ready and set to succeed and have all the products there and be clean and organized and make the staff doing their job, and that they can put out hot food hot and good solid ticket times. And then when they finish working in the kitchen, they can take off their apron, wash their hands, and go work a room like magic. That I can show you that I absolutely positively am thrilled that you're here. And I'm going to shake some hands and I'm going to kiss some babies, and they're going to want to be here because of the manager's energy. That's what good solid operations is. The second piece is financials. Okay? Gentleman in the striped shirt, the big guy in the back. Can you wave your hand for a second? David Scott Peters. He will be speaking at the end of the today at 3 o'clock. What do you, labor today? 3 o'clock labor. The reason why I bring him up during this slide is because I truly, honestly feel that he's the smartest gentleman in our entire industry regarding the financials of your restaurant. If you do not understand what prime cost is, he will take you right through and hold your hand and get you there. But as a management team, the managers have to understand this piece. So once you finish with this rush and you wash your hands and you're working the dining room, now the owner comes in and says, hey, you ready for our meeting? And 10 minutes later, he's going to say, where's our prime cost? How are we cutting our labor? Where's the recipe costing cards? So you have to understand the financials. The financials sums up like this to me. This is what allows you to make really good decisions to move forward. The knowledge of the numbers. The next piece, and this right here, is why I have yet to find that perfect GM. Because the financials and the marketing are so different. Typically, I find one person that has a great marketing mindset. How you take Chef Special and you say, wow, how are we going to create a message that shows people that they have to come in for this tomorrow? That you can create a marketing piece that drives 200 people in your restaurant just to order this one dish. Marketing is a huge piece of this, and that's why the different mindset goes to financials and marketing. It's very tough. Now, the next one, this is why I hand out these nice little stress balls. Okay? Oh, you can even kick them. This is why this to me is 85% of the stress that comes into your business. This is all the simple little problems that we focus on every day. Guys, this is your employees. Sometimes you just want to crush it and kick it and throw it up against a wall. But you know what? We need to understand this. We need to understand that our employees have a job to do, and that it's the leadership that can get them to a higher level. If this area right here is not under control, you never have time to work on the bigger items. You never get a true sense of where you're going as a restaurant because you're tied up in the day-to-day problems. And you feel like you're getting lots done because you're working really hard. You've got to understand the employee issues and put those to bed first. For your manager meetings, those are the 4 areas that I want every single agenda broken down to. Operations, financials, marketing, and employees. That's what you have to focus your management team on. But it's the right managers. I don't care that you don't have that marketing sense. I care that you're a great numbers person. And I'm going to play to everybody's strength, and I'm not going to worry about what your weakness is. The right people on the bus in the right seats. Take a look at the strengths and the weaknesses of your managers and say, what should they be working on? 9 leadership traits. These are the 9 that I say define what hospitality is. First, it starts off with common sense. What that means to me is that they have to be able to handle daily problems. They've got to be able to control that stress. You know, when your restaurant is really going down and you're completely crushed and in the weeds, and you think that every mistake is happening, that's when they jump in and say, you know what, guys, slow down, it's okay, relax, take a deep breath. Now give me the best 20 minutes of your career and we will be out of the weeds. That's all I need is 20 minutes of your strength and your strength and your caring. Then we can do this together. When management loses its cool during those crazy times, that's when the restaurants fall apart. I remember opening a Durango Steakhouse in St. Pete, and we put up on the sign, it said, "Shh, we're open." Didn't want to tell anyone, we just did a nice little soft opening. Within about an hour and a half of being open, we were on a 2.5-hour wait. It was our first night, we got hammered, absolutely. And I'm looking up and down the line, and everyone's going crazy, and you get a broken dish, and someone's overcooking the steaks, and wrong orders are going up. And I've got about 10 or 12 cooks on the line that literally this is their first day. Yes, we train the staff, but you can't train them for that hectic crush. You gotta go through it. So I told everybody on the line to stop. Stop, shut down, put your knives down. Everyone relax. Put it down, stop. Everyone come on over for a minute. Okay, we're getting hammered here, that's okay. Let's take a couple minutes and try to take a deep breath. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Come on, someone turn up the music a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna take all the dirty dishes, get them off the line. Get a clean towel, wipe down, relax just for a minute. Now we're just gonna take 3 tickets. Everyone, we can put out 3 tickets, right? Let's have one person starting to communicate. And we just hit the reset button. And we had a blast. And we got hammered for the next 3-4 hours. But we did it few tickets at a time, and we started our groove. Management has to jump in every once in a while and put some control on what's going on. The next one is knowledge. Everything I'm talking to you about is how to be a great manager. Nothing says I'm shooting for mediocrity. Nothing that I'm going to present today is shooting to be okay or good. This is to be great. You want to be a great manager and a solid leader? You have to know every single position, every single piece of the computer system, every food item, how to fix a leaky sink, how to solve problems and run out. If you want to be a true leader and your staff comes to you and you don't know the answers, they will only do that for a few times and then they will completely bypass you. Then it's just somebody that I work with, not for. If you're going to lead the staff, you have to know every single detail. If you're that restaurant owner or manager that, oh, I don't cook, that's not me, I'm the front of the house guy. Get your butt in the kitchen and learn how to be useful. You don't have to learn how to cook every single position, but any one of us can stand there and say, they need plates, they need lemon, and they need lettuce. I can get that. And you jump in and you become very helpful. What you don't want to do is jump in and be God's gift to solving problems. Get out of my way, I'm going to expo now. And you throw everybody off. In my restaurants, when I jumped onto the line, number one, I wanted to be invited. I didn't want to have to jump on because I saw a need. Darren, you got 10 minutes? Sure. Come over. Then we would go from a 3-person line to a 4. They knew that I liked expediting and I was good at that, but it also allowed me the ability to jump off the line as soon as things were controlled. I'd plating up and order up and here we go, I need coleslaw, and jump in and then, okay guys, you're okay? Down to 4 tickets, good job, thank you, you're awesome. Wash my hands and now I jump out front. If you don't know how to bartend, figure out how to bartend. They're not going to run to you and respect you as a leader if you don't know that. I haven't bartended in a high volume scenario in probably 20, 25 years. I'll be the best damn bar back you've ever seen. You won't touch a dirty glass, ice will be there, counters will be wiped, you'll have everything that you need, and I'll be a support. Management is not there to do your employees' jobs. You are there for when operations calls you into it to be a support tool. You're not there to bus all the tables during the night. You're there to bus 1 or 2 to show that you can be that person that jumps in and helps, and also that you're needed. Don't train your employees that you're going to do their job for them. Knowledge is a big deal. Dedication. For the long run, we have a very high turnover, and I'm proud to say that the industry is getting better and better at turnover. About 3 years ago, our turnover average was about 115%. From what I'm tracking now, that's down to about 85. So we're getting better at this, but I need managers to look at the long term. You owners out there, you've got to make sure that your management team wants to be there. I need you to be as happy working here as I am with you. So the dedication says that you're going to be here for the long haul. Make it right on both sides. The job has to work for you, but you've got to lead by example. At the end of the night, when you're putting up the 100 chairs to sweep and mop the floor, jump in and put up a couple of the chairs. Don't do 50 of them, do 5 of them to show them that you can do it. When things are really busy and they just slow down, don't be the first guy that goes out for a cigarette. Be the first guy that says, come on, we got to get cleaned and organized, let's reset. Then you can start sending your staff on a break. Passion. When I talk to employees, servers, bartenders, cooks, I talk very passionately about passion. What I want your staff to understand is they have to identify what their passion is outside of the business. If you've got servers, I want them to identify that it's their new grandbaby, or their boyfriend, or traveling, or fixing cars. But then it's your job to tie into their passion so that they go out and have fun outside of work. When I find my passion outside of work, I come in wanting to work. When you can have a happy staff that genuinely wants to be there, things work much better. So first, talk to your staff about passion. Second is you have to find your passion. For myself, it's my wife and my daughter. Been married 24 years this year. I've been with her for 29. What I want to do is spend more time with my wife and my daughter. But I, like 99% of employees out there, I have to work. I've got a daughter I feel it's on track to possibly an Ivy League school, and Dad's got to pick up his game. So I have to work. But I've found my passion inside my career. My passion is right here, right now. I love presenting, I love teaching, I love coaching. So I make it work for both sides. Then you've got to look at what your passion is inside your restaurant. If you're showing your passion, people will follow you. Put a little love into that plate. Remember about 6 months before you were going to open? Oh, they're going to love my bruschetta sauce, and we're going to have dynamite music, and we're going to have long white aprons that are ironed and crisp and clean all the time. And then you get into the business and it beats you up. And now you're just handling problem after problem. You've got to find your passion and show your staff that you have that inside of work. I need your energy. I asked for it earlier. If you want to lead me, you better show me that you're ready to do it yourself. Show me a high level, and I will increase my work to get to your level. That's how you drive staff, is by showing them. Decisive. I don't care if you make the wrong decision. You got to make a decision. We'll figure out tomorrow what we do next time, but make a decision, be decisive, and do it with confidence. Inspiration. Your staff a lot of times is, oh man, I got to work tonight. Oh, I'm working with this jerk. I can't believe it. And I don't want to be here. It's your job to make sure that they want to. When an employee comes in a bad mood, every employee should be picking on that person until we get a smile from them. And then we all do it together. You got to be that inspiration. When the shift goes down, you stand up and say, you know what? I screwed up. I didn't schedule enough people. We messed up the order. We're going to fix that. We're going to get better. That's what they want to see from you. Respect is one of the biggest things imaginable. If you do not earn the respect of your staff, they are not going to do anything extra. Earning the respect, a lot of times we promote a cook to assistant kitchen manager. We take a good server and make them front of the house manager. But we don't announce it, and we don't do it in a formal manner. You're setting that manager up to fail because you have shown them that they don't have your respect. Oh, we're just going to try and see how this works out. You've got to announce that and stand behind them. For young managers, whether physically young or young in the position, you have to teach them to go out and earn the respect of every single employee. When I jump onto the line in the kitchen, I'm the best damn line cook you will ever see. I would never say that out loud, but that's what's going through my head. I want to prove to everybody that I'm working with that I deserve to be here, that I'm going to put my all into this job, and we're going to do it together. The next one is a vision. A vision of where the restaurant is going, how you're going to get there. What are you as a group? I can tell you, and this was probably 2 years ago now, I was leading a leadership team at my daughter's middle school. So it was grade 6, 7, and 8. I had 25 students for a leadership program. We called it BLT, for Burns Leadership Team. And we had them for about 25 hours. We were going through the book, 7 Effective Habits of Highly Effective Teens. We did a community project. We brought in speakers. We did all the traditional leadership things. I introduced a game called Curveball. And what it was I'm going to throw out, I got a list of 20 problems. I'm going to throw out the problem. If you're involved in it, stand up, work through the solution, sit down, because here comes another one. So we were playing hotel for the day. You were the maintenance manager, you were the valet, you were the owner, the GM, the bellman, the cook, the server. Everybody had a name tag, and we started with these 20 problems. Guys, the toilet in room 220 is plugged. I got 5 kids that stand up. I said, okay, I don't know if we really need 5. Hey, I'm the maintenance manager. Would you please go fix the toilet? Well, I'm glad that you said please. Good job. That's the actionable step. Sit down. Next problem is you got a fire in the kitchen. Guys, your deep fryer just caught on fire, and this thing is kind of starting to go outside the hood. You got a major, major problem. Every single kid stood up. All you can hear is getting louder and louder, and 911 and fire extinguisher and emergency, and they're getting louder. Well, I was running this day with a father's committee. So I've got 4 or 5 dads sitting at the side of the room. Well, these kids are getting loud, and they're starting to disrupt other classes. So I'm pacing back and forth, and the dad's like, what are you doing? I said, shut up, I got this, relax. Okay, guys, this fire just caught the ceiling tile. It's ripping across the kitchen, and you got 50 guest rooms above us. What are you going to do? Louder and louder and louder. So I paced back, and my daughter's like, Dad, and I said, hey, and I just stood, and I leaned against the wall. She jumps up on her chair, she's like, shut up! Call 911, get out front, wait for the truck. Get the front desk and get people starting to knock on the doors. Guys, every once in a while, your restaurant is burning down. Not literally, but in respects to leadership. And every once in a while, leadership is really soft and quiet, one-on-one in the corner. We're going to handle this problem. And sometimes it's like, this is where we're going. Who's going to follow me? Every restaurant that I've went in that is just down in the gutter, terrible problems, I stand up and say, this is where we're going. Who wants to follow me? That's what leadership is. It's not a position. I could care less that you're the owner. I could care less that you're my manager. It's through your actions that says this is what you do. Productive and profit-driven. I've only got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to fly through this quickly. If you are working too many hours, this is the system that will save you. This is the system that says, I've got 25 employees. Let's get them all to work at a higher level. Starts off with a team focus. You've got to share with everybody that you are doing it together. It's a 3-part system. Checklist, woohoo, big revelation, wow, system I've never heard of before. Put them in place, every position, every day for open and close, including your managers. Open and close checklist, every single task. I do not want to walk in on a Monday morning, go to put my key in the door and say, why was it not locked last night? Checklists tell you that this is what your staff can be held accountable for. The next one is an action list, probably my absolute favorite. This is for all those simple little tasks and things that pop up that they go on a clipboard. And I assign certain tasks to all my employees. If you're working a 40-hour work week, something tells me you can get 3 or 4 things done during that week to help us all do better. Why they don't normally do this is they don't understand. They don't know what needs to be done. Delegate some simple things. The last one is a responsibilities list. I want every single manager and good employees to understand what areas they take care of for me. I want someone to manage the inventory. I want someone to manage the bar, someone to manage the uniforms, the light bulbs. I don't want to deal with light bulbs. I want to train one employee on every single aspect of those light bulbs, hand it off to them, give them their job, and I move on to things that are higher level to help the restaurant get better and better. Hand off all the simple little things. I want to tell you just a tiny bit about service with style. First thing is, give me your cards in the yellow bag up here. If you do not have cards, I've got them in 3 different spots that you can write your email address and I will get you the presentation. Service with Style is a secret shopping company. We come in as a guest. Nobody knows who we are, and it gives you the perception of your guest. It tells you what we are thinking when we walk into your business. It gives you great ideas on how to get better and better. We are a coaching company, helping you get better every single step of the way, and training. We've got a dynamite training program that we're in your restaurant. Now, I do have a couple really good things that I want to close with, so bear with me. Like I said, yellow bag, give me your cards. This is how I see the entire industry when it comes to leadership. Leadership sparks morale. That means that good, solid managers will show the staff this is a great place to work, that we're going to do this together and we need you working at a higher level. Morale drives productivity. When I want to be there, when I like working for you, when I bought into the entire system, now I'm going to be productive and take things serious. Productivity creates profit. David Scott Peters will tell you all about labor costs today. If your staff is not productive, it's not going to take place. Guys, work on the solution, not the problem. I don't care that you forgot to order strawberries. I care that somebody ran to the store to get a flat of strawberries. Don't be pointing fingers at who the problem is. Point and create the solutions. That's what I got for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me your cards and I will send you the presentation. And I've also got a drawing for 2 free coaching sessions. So get your cards in the bag. Thank you very much.